Chapter 1: What a CRM really is and why it matters in government contracting. Before we go any further, I want to simply say something that gets overly complicated. What is a CRM? In the GovCon world, we sometimes talk about CRM software like it's a magical solution for everything. When in reality, most small business don't even use 80% of what big platforms offer. Because I've had them all. I've had the Monday.com, I've had HubSpot, Asana, and those different ones, but it was just too complex when I was first getting started. It just was too much because you're self performing most of your contracts in the beginning because you're a subcontractor. Now, or you might be won your first prime contract, but you're still self performing. You're not doing all of the roles, you're just doing one of the roles. It doesn't matter. It was too complicated because I was a one person team when I first started, and it was very challenging. But what I learned as I grew the business and self perform, I knew I had to come up with a way, a system, so that way I could stay on top of everything. So now let's strip it down to what really and truly matters. A CRM is a system for managing relationships, right? Customer relationship management, CRM. And so what I decided, all right, we know we need a system for managing relationships. I've tried all these different softwares. You have to learn them. Most of them are very complex. And that I wanted to be in control of my data. I didn't want someone else to have the control of my data. So that's when, I just, for years, these are some of the things of challenges I face. All right. And that's not it. It's not a fancy platform. Okay, we don't need all that. A CRM is a system for managing relationship, right? That's it. Not a fancy platform, not a complicated dashboard that wouldn't even allow me to move any of the data, do anything, right? And I only needed certain things, the very basic. When you first getting started, you need just the very basic. And then the software subscription becomes more of a burden than a blessing because that is costing me money every month, especially when you first get started, right? We're trying to be very careful and cautious of how we spend our cash flow because we have payroll. We have to pay ourselves so we can pay our bills. It's so many things when you're first getting started. So these are some of the things that kept coming back to me as I was growing my business. And then I'll have to, all right, the software is too expensive. I'm just going to have to let it go. So, and then because that needs to go to payroll, it's just those decisions you had to make. Now, at its core, a CRM is simply a structured way to track the relationships that grow your GovCon business. So I start pulling all that stuff away. You'll have people saying, well, you don't need to use a spreadsheet or you don't. But when you're first getting started, it comes with your system that you're already paying for. So if you're using one of those systems you're already paying for, why not use it to the max until you outgrow it? So my thing is use these things and then outgrow it. So then you move to the next one. First, you're a small business, then you're a mid-tier business, then a large business. But too many of our small business operate as if we are a large business and we're wondering why. We're just bleeding. Cash flow is just because we don't understand. We have to move differently as a small business. When you're bootstrapping everything, you're responsible. And then you don't have teams. Oh, by the way, you're wearing multiple hats. So let's go back to it because I don't want to get off. A structured way to track the relationships that grow your GovCon business, and that includes three major categories. Number one, people. Number two, opportunities. And three, the information. Those are the things that make the CRM. Everything else, secondary. Now let's break it down. All right, people, the heart of your GovCon business. People do business with those who they like, know, and trust. Government contracting is built on relationships. I've seen so many people I haven't seen in years, and then we're running to each other because the community is small. It is very small, and it's important that you build those relationships. Okay, even in regulated environments like this, it is the relationships that shape, because that's how I won these opportunities, by having relationships, reaching out to people out of the blue, be like, oh, I haven't did my touch point, let me touch point, and then I got an opportunity because I reached out for the touch point and they were looking for acquisitions to me. And that's me because I focus on what I'm good at. Okay, I don't try to do everything, and I see too many of us doing everything. Okay, so let's get back to it. Even in regulated environments, all right, it is relationships that shape. Okay, now what we're doing for the people, right? Teaming decisions, subcontracting invitations, market research discussions, industry days, capability briefings, and who gets considered early in the process. So what the CRM must capture, right? What must our CRM capture is agency contacts, contracting officers, small business specialists, program managers, teaming partners, right? Primes, subcontracts, consultants, coaches, and everyone who influence your opportunity pipeline. That could be a contract manager that you're dealing with. You could be doing a capture manager. You could be talking with a BD, because for one of the small business I work for, I was the lead BD consultant. I did all of the BD. So that is what needs to be captured. Okay. Now then let's talk about the opportunities. The opportunities in your pipeline. The second purpose of the CRM is to track those opportunities, because we're not just putting people in our CRM for no reason. It's because it was this opportunity that we were looking at. So that's the second purpose of a CRM, is to track those opportunities. Not just live solicitations, right? We're going to be looking at forecasts. We're going to be looking at those sources sought notices. We're going to be looking at those RFIs, requests for informations, all of our intelligence, expiring contracts, teaming leads. The sky is the limit. Your CRM should tell you what's coming, what you're pursuing, who you're talking to, what stage you're in, and what's worth your time, and what should you walk away from. Because I'm telling, too many times we take things we shouldn't take. Now, without a CRM, everything feels urgent. You just all over the place. With a CRM, everything feels organized. So I recommend, this is the first step. Organize yourself. Pace yourself. All right. And then the third one, information, the insights you need to make decisions. Too many times we're making decisions without that information. The third and final core element is information. Meeting notes, right? Email history, follow-up reminders, capability gaps, intel gathered from industry days, what primes are looking for, your past performance alignment, the competitive landscape, and then your customer's pain point. Because, we always try to think, okay, so what problem are we solving? Your CRM becomes your intelligence hub. It's your GovCon small business intelligent hub. You're building this, right? Okay. Instead of scattered notebooks, random emails, lost screenshots, everything lives in a simple, structured place. All right. Now, why this matters for small GovCon teams. All right. Here it is. Okay. Here is where I want to speak directly to you. As someone who grew her business from scratch, as someone who learned through so much trial and error, as someone who has coached hundreds of solo founders and small government teams, I'm telling you, I know this truth very well because it plagued me for so many years. You don't need a big CRM. You need a small CRM that works. Enterprise systems do not serve solopreneurs, but we will grow into them. So the system you need needs to be able to be scalable. It needs to be able to one day scale, right? So we're looking for a system that's easily scalable and simple. There are overwhelming, all right? Say you only got one person, you're the founder, or you might have a 2 to 5 person team. You want a system for that. Then um they require roles you don't have, like we don't have a dedicated BD analyst at first. We don't have a dedicated proposal writer at first. You don't have a dedicated CRM admin or those internal capture managers, so forth and so on, that the large prime has. But you will, but in time. So we have to start where we are. Grow where you're planted. Start where you are. Because too many of, yes, we want to do that. No, but let's do it now. Where are we right now today? Okay. And taking one step closer to where we want to be. Now, your CRM must be simple, structured, easy to maintain, and designed for on the job training, because you're going to build it as you go, right? To manage your workload and customize, not with all those extra tools, because then you have to learn how to use those extra tools. Now, this is exactly why we created the data driven outreach system. All right, trademark. And we want you to do the same. And that's what this series is all about. It is designed for consultants and coaches, small subcontractors, boutique firms, solopreneurs, small GovCon teams, and early stage businesses trying to just stay organized while they're self-performing and delivering the work. Now, this system doesn't assume you have a business development department. It assumes you are wearing the multiple hats. So that's the reason why you need this system. It assumes your time is very limited, and it assumes you need clarity fast. All right. That's what it is assuming. So that's why I'm telling you, this is to help you build your business. And that way you're in charge of your entail. You're the one, and it's not being managed in someone else's system. You are managing your systems. And before we move on, now the purpose of this chapter, as we go deeper into this series, I want you to remember a CRM is not software. A CRM is a system. That's how we're seeing it, as a system. Software is only the container. Your system is what makes it effective. And throughout this audio series, you will build a system that supports you every week, throughout every opportunity, in every stage of the business development growth in your BD. You will learn what data matters, how to track it, how to prioritize, how to avoid overwhelm, how to follow up consistently, and how to make decisions based on insight, not emotion. Because when we build in this business, we're exhausted, we're tired, we're making emotional decisions. This chapter lays the foundation for everything we'll build together. Before moving on, I want you to understand one more thing. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a beautiful tool. You don't need to learn complex software. You just need a clear, simple system and the commitment to use it consistently. It does you no good to build it and then don't use it. That's it. And by the time you finish this book series, this audiobook series, you will have exactly that. A GovCon CRM that works for you, not against you. Now, when you're ready, continue to chapter 2. Why solo and small GovCon teams need their own CRM systems. Take care.